All right. Well, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing pretty good, thanks. Thanks for joining me on Plenty of Questions. I know we've been trying to coordinate this for a while now.
Sir.
It's funny we're just finally getting to it, and we're going to see each other in person in a couple days. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
well,
Indeed.
I mean, if you're not too busy for me, that is. So.
Oh, I'm worried about you.
So, Jovan, how do you pronounce
Jovan.
it?
Jovan. Yes, sir.
Jovan, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure I was saying it right.
Well,
It's a great name. What kind of name is that?
I guess it's French. I would
French.
just, yeah, Jovan. I mean, look, you have to ask my parents about that.
I
Yeah.
like it. And you go by Jovi?
Yeah, I mean, like most of the lacrosse world calls me Jovi.
Yeah.
Jovan. Whatever. Yeah.
Everybody, except your mom.
Yeah, they have actually. My parents have a different nickname for me. I can't.
Oh.
I can't. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's a different one, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, when did you decide that people should listen to you talk about things?
Wow. You know what? I think after I had a WordPress account for a long time,
Yeah.
and I have three journals. They're filled with
Wow.
all types of thoughts and stuff. But I think it was about a few months ago. I just felt like I had some good content for one thing. I think that there was a lot of stuff that it wasn't just me talking about. It was maybe having a conversation with somebody or whatever, and the conversation was really good. And from there, I just felt like we're losing that conversation because nobody's ever talking about it again. So
Yeah.
I like maybe it would be a good avenue. So yeah,
I
man.
like it.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started. In the Giving Context podcast, you tell me where people can listen to it?
Oh, it's actually on all platforms. So it's actually been a process for me. But now you can listen out. You can do it on app. You can do it on Apple. You can do it on Spotify. You can do it on. There's a number of different ones. Overcast. There's a number of different podcaster um, avenues as well. But you
Yeah.
can and on every single thing. I also have. If you follow me on Instagram and or Twitter, I also have the link in my bio. So.
So you make it really easy for people. I like that. And I would say if people haven't had a chance to make sure they check it out, it's called Giving It Context.
Give it context.
Give It Context. Sorry, I see. I gotta say it right. So
Yeah.
I don't want to send them to the wrong one. They like,
No,
this
no.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So, well, this is good. You've been asked to take part in a pretty big panel at LaxCon. U.S. Lacrosse is holding LaxCon in Philadelphia in a couple days for the weekend, and you want to talk a little bit about the group discussion you're going to be involved with?
So, I've been a part of the diversity and inclusion task force for, I think, well, I think in total we'll say 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right after I graduated from Syracuse in 2011. The following year, I wasn't there. 2013, I believe. That was when I went for the first time. But it's not. A lot of this has actually been it's been a culmination of a lot of stories I've heard, unfortunately, with Black people that play lacrosse. And I think the big thing for me was, look, not to boast, but I know I'm a big name, so it's a lot different when it's coming from me, and I've had my experiences as well. But it's really sucked for me, I guess, has hearing those stories and hearing how they were handled. And I think that over the course of those times where I've came to the convention, over those course of those years, been bringing more of those to light. Last year in particular I think it was an integral part to even being able to build up to this one. So this was one of those things where Kyle Harrison and I, Chaz Woodson as well, we had sat around for a little bit, trying to think of the best way that we could go about it. We had, pretty much threw a whole bunch of things at the wall. This was an idea that I had as far as timing. This was Kyle's idea as far as the panel. So we kind of put our heads together, and luckily we were able to finally carve out a time where we're going to be able to be in front of people and have this conversation. So it's been a build up over the course of about 5 years, and it's finally kind of coming
Yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. I'm guessing the biggest name up there is gonna be doing a lot of talking, and I hope that Kyle's okay with
Yeah,
that.
I do too. You know what I? No, it's actually funny because um, I think Kyle being a part of it, we all knew that he was going to be the headliner.
Yeah.
So everybody that comes with it, I think.
Well, I was saying that you're gonna be the one doing all the talking.
I know. I'm saying like to to add to
Yeah.
that. This was a thing. Kyle headlining it. It was the easiest way to get people to capture people's attention.
Yeah.
I've been playing on and off the last few years, so I really haven't been in the lacrosse public eye, if you will. I've been to the Final Four, just haven't said anything. Haven't been like, hey, looking up Jovan Miller. I just go to the games, watch the games, and go home. So this is the first time I've actually been around the game consistently for an extended amount of time, probably since 2013. So being up there, I think that you'll be very intrigued. Actually, not by what I say. I think that the other, the ladies that are up there with us, I think they're going to actually have more insight than I do, which is great. Yeah.
This will be a good warm up. I've been listening to you talk for the last few weeks and about some really big topics throughout the sports world. I know that that's kind of your expertise. It's not just lacrosse with you, but about sports management, and obviously there are things that you see, that you hear, that kind of get under your skin, or that you just feel that it's worth, like you said, worth talking about and making sure that you have a platform to do that. And I think it's a good thing that you're talking about some of these social injustices and some of these things that aren't quite right with the world. And this up, I think, for you, and we're going to talk about all these hard hitting things. Actually, I'm gonna keep this light and fun, just because I'll leave all the other stuff for next week.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, I figure you probably don't get enough chance to just joke around and have a good time. So.
Well, with all the phone calls, man, like I'll get a phone call and it'll be like, this kid was at a clinic and this happened, or
It's terrible.
Or a parent, said this on the sideline. And it sucks because it's like I can't be there automatically. Like I would love to be, like magically appear those places. So yeah, it is difficult sometimes to just have a good laugh. That's why I watch some of the shows I watch, just for the entertainment part.
Yeah. And I don't mean to make it sound like you don't have fun, because I've seen that you have a lot of fun, but
sure.
What people get to hear from you a lot isn't always the most fun aspects of your life.
Yeah, for sure.
So I wanted to start with like, to me, you and I are a lot alike. And I was saying, when you came on at first, I was like, wow, look at you, you're handsome man, you had your shirt off. I thought that you're going to do the interview like that.
Nah.
For the ladies. But I was thinking that you and I had a lot in common, and I love your haircut. You're really good. We'll have to exchange some hair tips.
Yeah.
You got the beard, I get the beard.
Way better.
And
it is way better.
Well, yeah, but we're both in peak physical shape, and and I'm sure that this weekend at LaxCon, there's probably going to be some people that might confuse us. So we'll just have to try to find. Good thing I've got the long beard.
Different shirts, maybe.
Yeah. But the big difference here is you're a professional lacrosse player, and even before that, you've had an illustrious career playing for Syracuse. And when did you first pick up a stick? When did you first start?
I always mess it up, either 12 or 13. I was watching a Syracuse lacrosse game. I was flicking through the channels. I had no idea what lacrosse was, actually.
Yeah.
I was watching a game. Syracuse was playing Princeton in the national championship. BJ Prager scored on a feed from Ryan Boyle in overtime to win the national championship.
Sounds like it stuck with you.
First ever game. Yeah. 13 or 14. I was 12 or 13. And after I saw the game, I went straight to my mother and I said, Mom, can you buy me a stick? My dad was away. My father's a teacher. He's like a legend in the educational world in Syracuse. So he was actually away on a retreat. It was in Cuba. so he wasn't even in the country. And I went to my mom. I was like, "Mom, can you please buy me a stick?" And I like watched the sport, and I was like, "Dude, like I don't even know what I just saw, but I need to figure out how to do this."
It speaks to you, you know.
Yeah, and shortly after that,
The rest is history.
no, I mean it was I wish it was that easy, but man, it got my attention right away.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say when you said you saw the game on TV, you're lucky enough that you got a chance to see it on TV because there's so much lacrosse that doesn't get seen, and that's unfortunate. In a town near me, I work for their local access television station, and they film the football games, they film various games, but I talked to the director there, and we're gonna start trying to get some of the lacrosse games on there, and
Gotcha.
even the MLL where you played for the Florida launch and whoever else.
I mean, it's like a ring around the rosies in that league.
Yeah. This last season, they didn't even have the second to last game on TV. They almost didn't even put the championship on. At the last minute, they put it on like ESPN 8 The Ocho.
Yeah, exactly. ESPN Alaska.
Yeah, but at least it made it on TV. But the rest you had to watch on the LSN app. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But here comes the PLL, and one of the big things about it is their deal they've got with NBC Sports. So here we come. Yeah. I'm excited about seeing some lacrosse on TV.
I'm actually more excited to see the interaction between MLL and PLL this weekend. I'm not gonna. I mean, that's actually besides like doing my panel.
Yeah.
I'll be walking around, like I said, because I'll be working. Well, I can't actually announce the news yet of
come on,
who I'm going to work with yet. But while I'm there, man, like it's gonna be. I'm very interested, like I said, to see like the Coddles of the world, the Dave Coddles and those guys, and Rabel in the same room. Like I'm very interested to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Jets and the Sharks. That's probably a reference most of our viewers aren't going to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like to think everybody's going to be able to coexist and get along together. And, I see it already. But
you know what, man? I'm not going to say that I wish it wasn't that way. I think everybody's kind of biting their lip, to be honest. I think as that conversation keeps going, because some dudes have already dropped some bombs that I believe that will be addressed when we get there. So I don't know, follow some of these guys, but I think Brian Reese was one. Brian Reese had put out some tweet that I was like, the same game that's giving you the platform, you turn your back on it and start another league. Said something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, it got like 40 to 50 likes. And I think that a bunch of our guys saw it, the PLL guys saw it. And I'm not going to say any names in particular, but they are very big names. And they were like, we're going to have a conversation if he's there.
Oh, it's getting exciting.
Like I said, that's more, I'm not going to sit here and say I want them to go fisticuffs, but I definitely want to hear.
But that's how things go. Who's to say, sure, Paul Rabel played in the MLL and he made a name for himself there, but he made a name for himself. Nobody gave it to him.
Sure.
And why can't he go on and start his own thing,
I mean, I could answer that shortly. The fact is that the MLL, I mean, even on my podcast when I talked about it, the MLL shot itself in the foot. This could have all been avoided. This all could have been avoided. And I'm talking about 5-6 years ago. This all could have been avoided. Players' rights and everything, they're incredibly limited as to what they do. And on top of that, trading assets and everything, you watch football, you watch basketball or anything. If I say I'm going to trade for, Steph Curry, it's not going to be a swap for like Steph Curry and just one player and some scrub that doesn't play. You're going to have to get value for that pick.
Absolutely.
For that reason in particular, you could trade Paul Rabel for Jovan Miller. It's not the same thing. That's not even a player for player. That makes no sense. So the MLL, because of the payroll in particular, they didn't it didn't cost them anything or anything. So everybody was paying. If you're in your sixth year, you're usually making the same as another guy, another team that's in the sixth year. Nobody could negotiate contract, and if you could, it would be like $300 more here or $500 more there. So this could have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But here we are, and we've launched the PLL, and come this summertime or summertime, we'll be able to.
Yeah, it'll be June 1st is the first game. June 1st.
I was trying to remember as that summer. Yeah, I consider June summer. So at least it won't be snowing and cold like it is right now up here in the north, in New York and Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at the Inside Lacrosse had released the players and which teams they're aligned to, and there hasn't been a lot of details come out. But I was saying to you earlier, your team looks pretty nasty, and I hope you don't get lost in the mix there with all these guys. But
well, I mean,
good.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think that at this point, 29 years old, it's not the fact that I don't think that I couldn't play another 6 years. It's just the fact that my steps away from the game, whether they have been 2 years, whether they've been 1 year here or whatever, you find out some things that you really like to do more than playing. As much as I love the game, I mean, in my case, I discovered my podcast in that time of not playing. So,
yeah,
like, the intrigue is very high, and I know that over the course of time, let's be realistic, we got all these freaking 21 and 22-year-olds that are in tip-top condition.
Yep.
Whereas it takes me, like, I'm still, like, in decent shape, but I'm nowhere close to being in game shape right now.
Yeah.
So, look, I get it. With me, I'll say after 2 years, I'll figure out where I'm at. And then from there, like I said, I'm not trying to be the Kyles or the Rabels and play till I'm 40. Like, I'm really okay. So,
well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yes, sir.
So, we had a good Boston Cannon head your way. Looks like you're gonna have Trevor Baptiste on your team.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing. But if you look at the other face-off guys, it's like if you've ever played against some of these guys, honestly, I mean, I've seen games where like every face-off guy in particular has like a kryptonite guy, which is crazy. Like when I was playing for the Launch, Chris Mattis used to give Greg Garenlian fits at the face-off X.
Yeah.
Fits. He would always go either 50 or right above 50% on him. And that was the year that Garenlian won the MVP. Like, it was absurd. Just how some guys are just really good for. So
they just get it.
They just get it. So look, I looked at our teams, and like I said, I mean, the teams are freaking loaded. Yeah. There's not a bad team. I'll be very surprised if any of these games are like blowouts. These are gonna be like one goal down to the wire type games. So
right.
Yeah.
But so if you have Trevor on your team, though, that might mean that you're not the guy on the team that has the most style.
Well, hey, you know what? He's got more hair. I'll give him that.
Hair's not it. He's got speed too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an athlete, dog. Like, yeah.
You got to talk to him about this whole speed thing. You gonna get some of the Trevor sunglasses? You think?
Nah, I'm probably not gonna do that. Probably.
So I'm gonna go into our first lightning round, and my lightning round has like the fancy graphics and the sound effects that I'll afford those someday. But where you and I look so alike, and except for my beard might be a little longer.
Yeah.
I want to just see like how close we are. So is this going to be a love it or leave it lightning round? So I'm going to list off a bunch of things, and we'll give it like 60 seconds, and you tell me if you love it or if you leave it.
Okay.
These are all things I love, and we'll see like how closely we really line. All right, you ready?
Okay. Let's do it.
Start the clock. There's a clock that's like right here.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Cheeseburgers.
Love it.
All right, Star Wars.
Love it.
Beer.
Leave it.
Art. Well, like creating art.
Love it.
Super Mario.
Love it.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Love it.
Hoodies.
Love it.
Horror movies.
Love it.
New Balance sneakers.
Leave it.
Brain teasers.
Love it.
Black cherry seltzer. Or any seltzer.
Leave it.
Comfy clothes.
Love it.
Christmas.
Love it.
Hot tubs.
Love it.
All right, that's it. So we were way over 80% there. So I'm pretty sure that you and I are like, we got to be related.
Yes.
So I'm loving it. So how often do you do the hair?
Okay, so I actually have a rule. So it has to be per week. So like if I shave, I usually do it on weekends and Sunday before I go to work. Like I go to work on Monday. So like when I wake up in the morning Monday, my hair's already shaved. I just go. But like I shaved a few days ago, getting back to the States actually from London.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to wait this out. I'm gonna try to shave. I might shave even though it's not ready. I'll try to shave probably Thursday. Before
you and me, we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, because I want this to be like Black Mr. Clean.
It's got to be fresh. It's got to be ready to go. Yeah,
for sure.
Now, do you use the razor? Or you do the electric, or?
So, I used to do shaving cream, and I used to do like a regular razor.
Yeah.
Like with the razors, I was doing it. I guess I wasn't really keen to how to do it yet.
Yeah. And nobody teaches you how to do it.
My dad does. My dad's bald.
Really?
My dad taught me. He was like, "Why are you using shaving cream? Why don't you just do it in the shower? But like scrub your head with like soap and and shampoo just to make sure." And honestly, since then, I've had, knock on wood, but like no bumps or anything like that since then. So
I started to do it in the shower. Now, do you do it blindly, or do you have one of those cool mirrors that doesn't fog up?
You know what? I actually do it. I don't do showers I don't do them in the shower. Every weekend, I'm huge on like, routine. So Saturdays and Sundays are always baths.
Yeah.
Bath.
Okay.
And so when I get into the bath, usually Sunday, that's when I'll shave my head.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. So, I've always done it, in front of the mirror, but lately I've been trying to do it in the shower, but it's tough because I'm doing it blindly and I got to do it by feel. But
I'm pretty good at it now. I'll definitely say that.
It's looking good.
It took a while, dude.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's funny, it's hard to believe, but at one point I did have hair, kind of, I was like Paul Rabel back on the Boston Cannons, but I've been out of it so long that I recently brought my son to a barber, and I was talking to him about my beard, and I was doing all these things wrong. So I started going back to a barber, but for my beard. It's the weirdest thing, but I don't go often.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my joint's like when I go.
Maybe it's a little different. Like yours is very clean and has the clean lines, where mine, I'm just like letting it grow,
Yeah.
But it's good because I learned that I was trying to do things and I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing all the wrong things. So.
Yeah. I got you.
So I don't want to take all your time. I know you're probably tired. You just finished up playing a game and you got a big weekend coming up. Any things you wanted to plug or talk about? Or?
Hey, man, probably the only thing I'd say is if you, to anybody whether you listen to the podcast or you're interested in, subscribe to it. Shoot, I'm a lacrosse player that is, I guess, trying to help broaden the horizons of most lacrosse people in general. So any help in general would be awesome.
I appreciate it.
But other than that, like I'm looking forward to getting down to Philadelphia and just the atmosphere. I feel like it's going to be very unique this year for some reason.
Can't wait.
There's a lot going on this year.
It'll be my first time, so it's going to be exciting no matter what. But
this is your first one?
This is my maiden voyage.
Dude,
LaxCon Virgin.
Yeah. Dude, well, it's actually crazy to be going to it now. Like I said, this is year 5 for me. But my obligations there, my responsibilities have all been different each time.
You got me so intrigued now about your secret obligations. I can't wait to figure it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't even ask for it, and it's a huge, like, wow, this is awesome. Like even the panel. I mean, look, anybody who's followed me for a while, like I've been talking about this forever. You know, I'll probably say, look, a lot of people are surprised when I talk about some of my stuff at Syracuse. I usually don't bring up Syracuse references. I usually just will speak vaguely like this happened.
Mhm.
I won't say what level it happened at.
Yeah.
A lot of people like get confused with me because it was like, well, you were an All American, well, you were this and you were all that. Like, when did this happen? It's like it happens. I just didn't say anything because we were winning. You know, I like it was hard to like you don't want your own personal gripes and I mean these are legitimate, reasons to have an issue, but you don't want to say it in the middle of a successful season.
Yeah.
You just hold them in for a while.
I mean, and it's tough too, because I could get what you're saying. If things seem to be moving in the right direction,
Yeah,
if you got a real chance of doing something amazing, I could see that desire to like maybe bite your tongue and just deal with it. But like
yeah,
nobody should have to deal with it
yeah.
either, And then it's unfortunate it is, or was the way it was. But hopefully we can keep moving in the right direction here. And
It's I'm interested to see like so a kid told me like I've been getting messages all day since last night when I posted the bio, the link in the bio for the podcast. We're already over 200 streams already, which has been awesome to see the stats go up, which is crazy. So in 24 hours, 200 people have already listened to it, which is awesome. But one kid said that like his whole college team is going to listen to it tomorrow, and I look at those situations and I'm like, well, if that's the case, more or less, after we have the conversation, it's like, all right, what do we do about it? Like what? And I guess at the end of the day, I know somebody will ask me, Jovan, what's your desired outcome? Like, end of the day, like all I can probably say is that what we're still going through is something that is taught at home. You know what I'm saying? It's something that if you're not reinforcing, you're not telling a child at a young age not to think or not to say these things, or if you're around the child and saying certain things, you have to understand that your son or daughter is a parent and they will repeat because they don't know what not to say in front of those who are around them. And that's how I've really kind of experienced a lot of stuff. Even as a professional, even as like I said, all the things I've been, it's been crazy to go to camps or something and have a 13-year-old kid ask me like, "Hey, are you from the hood?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, why?" And the kid's like, "Well, you have a gold chain on," and they're associating certain, my pigment with certain things I'm wearing. Now, mind you, this is like my parents. This is like my prized possession. My parents gave this to me for graduate. I think uh, during my actually it was when I was in college. It's serious.
yeah,
But anyway, I've had it forever, and I do not take it off. Well, the kid said it. We're in the middle of summer. It's like freaking 90 degrees, so I'm in a penny, so you can see it. And the kid says that to me, and like as he asked the question, I'm looking at him, not to be, too brash with him, and he
yeah,
realizes without me even responding that he was in the wrong for asking the question. But that's not on him. That's not on him. So I'm not gonna say I don't have any children of my own, but I just do know that end of the day, some of these issues can be ex- they can be extinguished a long, long time before they get to me.
yeah,
A long time before. So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what the actual solution is, but I know what the black people that I've spoken to, a lot of them who are in places like Detroit or like Philadelphia, New York City, Harlem, anything like that. Their bigger issue is that, and I don't know how you police this, and this is maybe a conversation, maybe you and I can get on a freaking podcast and talk about it. But what is an appropriate punishment? Like if let's say you're at yeah, because there's like you can't police that technically. There's like a huge loophole. I've heard parents at tournaments, and they got parents behind, excuse me, on the sideline saying very vile things to black team or something like that, and they go to the referee to police it, and he says, well, they're within their right to do so. So you're kind of passing the buck. We're not even addressing what the issue is.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
how is that okay?
exactly. And so, end of the day, look, if I go up there, because here's the one thing I've noticed about like society. It's not just American society in particular. You know, black people, when we get up in any situation, especially when it's regarding unfair treatment, we're complaining. It's seen as we're complaining. We just want to be treated the same, but we're technically we're complaining. So that's a really hard pill to swallow when we're talking about a game of lacrosse that I believe is about 10 to 15 years behind where society is in its most basic form.
Yeah.
So how do you police it, and what is a sufficient, like, should there be punishment? What can be done?
Yeah.
Because I hear about these kids in Alabama, these really rural places down south. I got a nephew. He's 11 now. He plays in Virginia, Roanoke, Virginia. That's not Fairfax, right outside of D.C. And they've had some very interesting situations on the sideline. I don't want to see. That's my whole thing. Cause I don't want to pull up on nobody. But I'm about to move again. Like, I'm about to move, and I'm going through there, and I do not want to pull up on somebody because you talk crazy about my nephew. But again, how do you police it? And what do we call for as far as, is there such thing as a proper punishment? Like last year, the Alex Ost situation. I was more pissed off, not because that, look, I'm a Christian man. I'm going to forgive her. I have a problem. At the end of the day, we got to forgive. It's whatever. She made a mistake. My problem was with the amount of people that were saying how brave she was. How many people really kind of came to her defense. That was where my problem ended up being. I said, she's apologizing for offending a group of people, but what about us? We were the offended people. We were the people who, at the end of the day, you're not even looking at what we're saying. You're just simply saying, oh, well, she apologized, get over it. And it's like, if you're going to look and you're going to, if you're going to come down, if all your decisions are going to come down to that basic logic of, well, she apologized, let's move on, we ain't going to get it anyway. At all.
And it's so funny that you say that parents or spectators of the game in the stands have the freedom to say whatever they want and say inappropriate things when we're living in a society where it seems that everything is being scrutinized, and they're so concerned about discrimination in a lot of senses. But then sometimes, like you said, seems that we're having some issues in lacrosse throughout the country, and I'm glad that somebody's talking about it, and I'm hoping that we're making some progress.
Like I've said this before, you like rap, right?
I do.
Okay, so
we also both have a good musical taste.
Yes, very good. So I was gonna say, this is the equivalent of, this panel would be like Jay-Z's Black Album, where he says it's his last one, but he'll be on features, and and then he'll drop some, a few. It's like it's over, but it's not over. Like, this would be for example, this would be my Black Album. This is my whole thing of like, we've worked so hard. I've worked so hard. I've been X amount of times to come to the convention and to finally have an opportunity. This was my idea of the timing. I told Kyle, like, this can't be on a freaking, this, first of all, like last year, I was so pissed off. They had it on a Thursday. Nobody's in town. We have jobs. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's got to be where their most amount of eyes and ears can be there. And he did that for me. So us being in prime time, pretty much, because 11:30 on Saturday, that's going to be like madhouse in there. So I was like, so he did that for me. With that being said, I feel like this is I'm not gonna, like I said, they'll never be my last time doing it, but if you don't get it after this, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wasting my breath. That's the part where I'm gonna feel like, is this truly working? Am I doing enough, or is it like, is my voice getting dulled out? Like what else can I do? I've done everything I possibly honestly could for the game of lacrosse. If we look at it, I mean, between playing for Cuse, breaking the color barrier after like what, being an All-American there, after 50 years without a black All-American since Jim Brown. Traveled abroad, did the Lacrosse the Pond program, so they got to see a top-notch player in their country for an extended amount of time. Made friendships for a lifetime there. Come back to the state. Look, there's only so much more I can, I feel like I can do at this point to where I'm like, okay, somebody needs to help me out here. That's what I guess as a professional athlete, I will always say that my biggest issue has been consistently the inaction of a lot of these other professionals. That's been my biggest gripe. That's been my biggest issue with a lot of players because I've been in your locker room before. Scotty Rogers, I've been in your locker room. Tommy Schreiber, I've been your teammate. Kyle Harrison, I've been your teammate. Chaz Woodson, I've been your teammate. And I'm not like, I don't walk around that locker room saying, black power this or black power that. Like, I'm very reserved and I'm very, like you see me, I'm just very free flowing and funny and all that stuff. But this is something that I do take very seriously. But all I'm saying is I'm more frustrated and I'm getting tired and exhausted from people just passing the buck or, Scotty. Like I love Scotty, but like Scotty, all you send is pictures of you lifting weights. Like, what about and we've texted back and forth before. Like, dude, like, help me out here. Like, when people say to me, they're like, Jovan, I love what you're doing. It's like, well, fucking help me.
Yeah. Well, I want you to know, you're not falling on deaf ears. People hear you. I'm hearing you.
Sure.
And I hope you keep moving. I wish it were easier, but appreciate what you're doing.
I appreciate you listening too.
Yeah. So, looking forward to seeing you this weekend. To end it on kind of a high note, bringing it back to you talking to your mom and saying you need to get me a stick. That was when you were like 13-year-old.
Yeah.
What was your first stick? What did she go get you?
She got me I can see the gloves in my hand. I can see them in my head. But they were like beginner gloves. But the stick was a STX. It was a aluminum 6000 shaft. I had the high wall head.
Yeah.
And I freaking, as a matter of fact, I might still have the shaft around it. I'd have to look though. But once they got me that stick, it's actually like my story is very embarrassing because like it's just stuff you don't think about. Like when I played my first when I made the middle school team, I had several parents like I heard this. Several parents had called in and were like, "Why is that black kid on the team, son?" So like it was already kind of like I didn't really get it at that point in time. It was like, Jesus. Now, mind you, I played that whole year with a high wall. So like I didn't have, my big thing was after that year, I was like, I want to stick with all the holes on the side. That's what I said. Like I didn't even know names of the sticks or anything. Like, this is a beginner stick. I didn't know that at the time, but I want one of those sticks with like all the holes on the side. And then I started learning all these different head names and it's like I said, I have a very unique story as far as the lacrosse part. So that was aluminum 6000 shaft and a high wall head.
I still remember mine. Mine was a Brian M1, and it was traditional.
Yeah.
And then I didn't. Well, back then there wasn't really any mesh sticks, and it wasn't long after that they started coming out with the Brian Edge, and they started making offset heads, and it kind of changed the game. And never looked back from there. Absolutely. But good memories, of picking the stick up for the first time. And I wish I could have done it sooner, like in middle school, like you. But where I grew up, most schools still didn't have it, and I went to a private high school. If I had gone to my public high school,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to play.
Yeah. It is crazy, the accessibility part. I mean, it's not really the dudes who want to play. It's like sometimes if you don't have it in your area, it's like you just are kind of screwed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on. I'll let you get to it, and then between now and Thursday, Friday, we'll kind of make sure we figure out this hair thing and what's the best way to do it. Maybe I'll have to hop in the bath or something. But
So,
appreciate you coming on, plenty of questions, and joining us, old dogs. All right. Well, you have a good night.
hey, you too. I'll see you there.
See you there. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Bye.